I can completely understand the need for someone to have a private jet. Particularly if you've got a small penis, that's a well-established way of fixing that problem.
Our friend of the show, Mike Cannon-Brookes, you may remember,
yes.
He had to really soul search to buy his top-end Gulfstream jet.
It was such a struggle. And look, I really felt for him. I felt for him agonizing over whether he was going to kill the planet or spend more time with his kids. It was a real struggle.
I can only imagine that when it comes to choosing a private jet and its interior and thinking of all the beautiful holidays that you can come on, that you must consider that should you have the beige leather seats or should you have the tan leather seats? There's a lot of questions he would have had to consider. So, heart goes out to him. It's a tough thing.
You have to get the seats where the leather is made from baby seals. That's the shit right there.
Baby polar bears would be better. Baby polar bears, maybe.
Baby polar bear leather. That is so hot right now.
Yeah. So I just thought this story was well timed. So essentially Atlassian, so Mike Cannon-Brookes' company, has failed to meet its ambitious carbon emission targets. But meanwhile, old Nate cruises around in his Bombardier Global 7500. I don't speak private jet, so forgive me. I'm not quite familiar with what that means. But so basically, in their sustainability report that was released on Monday, it revealed that emissions from business travel has soared by 135%. This figure starkly contrasts with Atlassian's publicly stated goal set in 2019 to reduce the same travel emissions by 25% by this year, a key milestone in its commitment to achieve net zero emissions by 2040. I don't know about you. I know this might be a silly question, but if your business travel and your carbon emissions are soaring by 135%, I mean, it must be because he bought a push bike.
Yeah, and I can completely understand the need for someone to have a private jet. Particularly if you've got a small penis, that's a well-established way of fixing that problem.
Or you just want to not travel with the mere mortals.
Yeah.
To be fair, as someone who goes to airports a lot, if I had that option, I'd take it.
Well, there is that story about how someone who, the difference between new money and old money. New money's flashy and wants to show off and brag, and old money tends to be much more quiet. And there's the story about some new money guy who's trying to show off at some big hobnobby event in Europe and talking about the fact that these days he only ever flies first class, and people were getting a bit sick and tired of him. And finally, one of the old money stands up and says, "Oh, you still take public transport?" And put him in his place. It's a funny thing. I aspire to have a private jet one day. Would I like one? Of course I would. Of course I'd like to be able to get to where I want to go and speak at conferences or meet people or whatever, and do it in privacy and on my own schedule and into and out of whatever airports I want, blah, blah, blah. But they are stupendous amounts of money for a reason, right? Like, they are genuinely phenomenally expensive to build, to run, to fly, the fuel, all the regulations, the maintenance, the insurance, everything else. And very few people can actually justify one from a business point of view on a genuine cost basis, rather than a nice to have, I have the money, so I'll spend it, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. I've got no problem with that. But to sit there and say, we need this for the business. There are people that can actually justify that, where the time saved and the effectiveness of their CEO or leadership team is such that actually it does pay for itself. But the vast majority of the time, it's, I want that, and I will justify it by saying that the business needs it. And I'm going to say that in the case of Mike Cannon-Brookes, and when you look at the valuation of Atlassian, when you look at the state of technology today and his ability to meet with anyone he wants at any time he wants, anywhere in the world, online, and then use first class to get anywhere else, or charter a jet. If you really absolutely have to make that connection, charter somebody else's private jet, like a schleb, right? Just like a little person, like a pauper. Oliver with his bowl of soup. Please, sir, may I have one more ride in your private jet? Like, that's like, you just become a pauper like the rest of us. No, there is no business justification. And to be clear, if you want one, good for you. But don't claim that you're a climate warrior and then say, oh, but I need this. No, you don't.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring up an old clip of Bill Gates in a second, but just on that, I mean, I have no issue if you become wealthy and you buy yourself a private jet. Good on you. I'll use Adrian as an example, but you know, the Kardashians, whatever.
Yeah.
In the Kardashian family, I think they each have there's like 6 private jets in that family. They've all got one, right?
Yeah.
Fair game. I don't necessarily like you or what they do, but you know, they've worked hard maybe and got themselves private jets. Where my issue lies is that you live that life of luxury. So Atlassian, the 2 co-founders, Scott Farquhar and Mike Cannon-Brookes, have the 2 most expensive bar one house in Sydney on the harbour.
Yeah. Wow.
One of the 2 of the most expensive houses, over like $60 million or something. Like money that you and I don't even know what $60 million buys you in a house. I have no idea. What does a $60 million house look like that a $20 million doesn't look like? I don't know. Right? Do you have your own like landing strip? I don't know. Anyway, so they're enjoying the fruits of their capitalist success whilst lecturing you and I about our emissions and how you and I, who don't have the resources of billions of dollars, have to pay more in our electricity bills and be taxed more and more and slide back into poverty, because that's exactly what's happening to the middle class.
Yeah.
And we're meant to listen to these people. We're meant to take them seriously. Now, I want to bring this up. This is old, to be fair. This is from 2023. So some of you may have seen it, but this paints a really good picture. These are the people who are lecturing us on climate change. This is none other than Bill Gates. And have you seen this? Do you remember this?
I don't actually think I've seen this individual video, no.
All right, I'm going to play it really quickly. If it plays.
I'm here at the APEC Global CEO Summit, and it's incredible to be part of such an impactful event.
Business. Hang on, we'll just talk over this. So essentially, he sat down and was asked if he's a hypocrite for flying private jet. And he says no, because he is offsetting his emissions. So he gets to enjoy that because he's a billionaire and he can offset his emissions. Yeah. So that's how, isn't it? So I just want to play this, if it will let me, when this ad pisses off. Here we go.
You actually mentioned your use of a private jet. Let me put it to you directly. What do you say to the charge that if you are a climate change campaigner, but you also travel around the world on a private jet, you're a hypocrite?
Well, I by the gold standard of funding Climeworks to do direct air capture that far exceeds my family's carbon footprint. And I spend billions of dollars on climate innovation. So, you know, should I stay at home and not come to Kenya and learn about farming and malaria?
Right. So let me ask you this. If you actually believe that the apocalypse is coming, are you living a yes but no? Or are you just going to do everything, cut your own emissions and spend all the money pulling the carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere? That's the attitude of someone who does not believe that this is an existential crisis. And there is nothing anyone can say that will convince me otherwise.
Well, wouldn't you know it? Back again, you could not help yourself, could you? I get it. I am absolutely ridiculously good looking. So you should probably go and subscribe. And whilst you're there, maybe shout us a coffee. I have to put up with this guy every week, twice a week, for you and your entertainment, much to my displeasure. But alas, I do it because I am a virtuous soul and you're welcome. So please subscribe and tell other people to go watch because I need help.